Hi everyone, my name is Jeremy Tatum, Brand Ambassador for Kenra Professional. Thank you for joining me today for today's class, which is Influential Design. I would like for each one of you to let me know exactly what is you're excited about learning in today's training. Great, I really think you're going to enjoy today's class. It's a very fun class, it's very different. So by the time you leave today, I want you to be completely comfortable with using all of the elements that you're going to learn today in each one of the collections of influential design. So at each one of your desks, there is an influential design application guide. Those are yours to keep, so feel free to use them for note-taking, as well as throughout today's class. Please feel free to just ask any questions that you have so that we can keep everybody on the same board. So before we get in too far, I would like to go over today's agenda. So first we're going to go over our introduction into influential design. We will then go into our design inspiration for our different looks and collections. And then we're going to do a color demo on a model. Then we're going to go over the styling techniques for each one of the looks. We'll finish up our model, and then we'll go into the closing of the class. So the idea behind influential design is innovative color placement and styling techniques for every season. So we have had our artistic team up with some of the key key social media influencers, like in this collection is going to be Stephanie Brinkerhoff. So we've got bold and daring color applications to give some extraordinary looks that are going to be easy for you to be able to replicate later. So each one of these are also customizable styling techniques. So there's going to be different options for the looks themselves of the color application on your colors, on how bold or how daring you want it to be, as well as the styling options for each one of them. Now the elements of design. So you're going to notice that we use a lot of verbiage of foundation, anchor, and accent. So the foundation is going to be 75% of your overall look. So that's going to be more of your base color. That's what's going to go on the roots to the end. That's your base amount of what you're going to see in your style. Next, we're going to have our anchor, which is our supportive color. So this is going to be usually within 1 to 2 levels of your foundation. I'm sorry, there it goes. Next is going to be your accent color. So this is going to create contrast, and this is going to be a highlight or low light. So now the application elements. So we utilize 4 different techniques of highlighting. So first we have our weave, then we have our slice, our skip slice, and then our micro skip. So to better give you an understanding, I'm going to show you on my mannequin the different techniques of each one and when you're going to use those and why you would use those. So first let's go over our weave. So the weave, when we would use the weave, would be when we would want very diffused looks. So you would take your panel, wherever you would place it, you're going to finely weave through. So you see it creates a little diffusion. You can actually see through it. It's going to be very soft and subtle. So next is going to be our slice. So what that's going to do is going to give a lot more bold. You're going to see that one a lot more. So you take your panel, your section, you'll just run straight through it. So you notice you've got a little bit more bolder look. It's going to show a lot more. It's going to showcase. So next is going to be the skip slice, which is exactly what it sounds. So instead of taking your slice all the way across, you're going to go, pop out, come back through. So now you're going to have a little bit of a space in between. So that's going to give a little bit, not quite as strong as your slice, but it's going to give you a little bit of a break, so it's not going to be that abrupt line. And next, we have developed our micro skip. So what this is going to do is, if you wanted to utilize this and you wanted to have a little bit more of the color around your face, a little bit more of the accent around your face, you actually take it, a slice, skip, and then you're going to weave. So it's going to be a best of both. So you're going to have more of the highlight color at the front, and you're going to have more of the diffuse towards the back. Now, if your client wanted to have that softer look in the front and a little bit bolder into the depth of their hair, then you just take the section, weave it towards the front, skip, then take a slice in the back. So what that's going to do is give you more diffused in the front, more bold into the back. So these are going to be the different elements of application for some of the different looks, and we'll go over each one of those. So Boho Blonde. So this is going to be our first collection. So you see that we've got the different setups here. You're going to see it on your card, so you can follow along. I am going to actually do this on my mannequin, so we can go over the sectioning first. First, we're going to go over the sectioning, and then I'm going to actually tell you and go through all of the application of it. So first, we're going to take our client. We're going to so we are going to go. We're going to find her part. So my client's part is slightly off to the left. So we're going to take that part. You're going to notice right here, we're going to zigzag all the way across. And what that's going to do is it's going to cause a diffusion across her part, so when it falls out, it's going to be nice and diffused through there. So we will just take and zigzag. Nicely through. See? Just going to zigzag all the way across. From the zigzag on the top, we're going to go from right here in front of the ear up to the apex. So we're just going to go from right to the apex, straight down. So you're going to find the apex, be right here on her. We're going to swoop down right to the front of her ear. Out of our way. So what you're going to do, we have this nice line that goes right up to the apex of her head. So we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. We're going to go right from the apex. Right here on her ear. Swoop right down. Right here. And we're just going to make sure that that's a nice, clean line. Make sure that all your lines are very clean and all your sections are very straight. Alright, so now we see both sides. We see the top. So I know it looks like this on the bottom on the thing, but it's going to look like this, just depending on the shape of the client's head. So now we're going to take on this back section here, and And we're going to start, move this back a little so you can see it for a second. So we're going to go from the top of the right ear and make one large section all the way just below the bottom of the left ear. So top of the right, all the way down to the bottom of the left. Flip that way. So next we're going to go from just below the right ear. We're going to go from that section. We're going to cut directly across to her parietal ridge. So let's see, right from the bottom, right up to the parietal ridge on the left side. It is very hard to get a straight line on a mannequin. It's a lot easier on the client. So, all right. So now we're going to take that one. Just going to twist it and twist it, clip it. There we go. All right. So now we're going to take this last section, cut across, even to this side. Out of the way. Alright, so now we have this nice brick laid pattern in the back. So what a brick laid pattern is going to do is it's going to be able to, when you pull your hair up, it's going to fall nice and soft throughout the whole look. So no matter how you pull up your hair, you're not going to have the lines of panels like you would generally have when you're doing highlights sometimes. So now the application process. So we're going to start in the very back. So for me, it's always easier to start in the back. So what we're going to do here is you see that there's some lines, the 4 lines here. This is when you're going to ask your client if they're wanting. With this technique, like I said earlier, they're customizable. So with this, if your client wanted it a little bit softer, there's one way to do it. If your client wanted a little bit bolder, for more of that bold and daring look, then there's this way. So first I'll show you if your client is saying, they want a little bit of balayage, but not a whole lot. You can take this last section here. And what we're going to do in the whole back is all hair paint. So you can take this section and you would take and apply your base color. Sorry, not your base, your accent color. So with this particular look, let me go back to a second. With this particular look, you can use your foundation color, your base, or you can also use the natural. So say your client just wants some blonde balayage into their hair without having to do an overall color, then you wouldn't use any of the base color. So you would use just your accent, which would be your clay lightener or your high left series, like something to do your blonde. So if she wanted that lighter look, you would just take this top and you would hair paint this section here. Now, if she wanted that bolder look, what you would do is just like how you see these different sections within the sections, you're going to cut across, take this pin, apply apply your color if she's doing the base color. If she's not, then you're just going to take and you're going to paint all of your lighter across, and then you would go take another section, apply your color, and do the color melting, or the color painting the whole way through this section. When you're done with this section, then you're going to turn, and then you're going to move and go again towards your angle, towards your section. So if she's wanting a lot, you take each section, work your way up. If she's not wanting a lot, then you can take this top section. If you're not applying the base color as well, you're just going to hair paint here, set it across here. So now that you see that this whole section is here, so it's going to go across here in the back, and now this is going to go across in the front. So you're going to have that nice diffused look in the back. And you're going to continue in the same way to the back throughout this section. You're going to continue up to this line. So when you get to the very last, which is going to be this triangle section here, you can either work across up, or you can just take this top section and hand paint the top and lay it down. So what this is going to do is this look, the boho blonde, you have it a lot softer in the back, and you're going to have a lot more look of blonde in the front. So now let's move to the front. So you're going to notice that you have the options of what we're going to utilize in the front is going to be the micro skip. So with this one, if your client wants, like it shows in here, it's going to be the skip in the front, the slice in the front, I'm sorry, and then it's going to be the weave in the back. So we're just going to do it exactly the way this is because she wants that lightness in the front because she is the Bohemian queen. So we are going to go onto the side here. So now notice that we're going to go across this. So we're going to work towards our part. Some people like to go from the part down. I prefer going up, working all of my things up to the part and up to the top of the head. That way you don't have to worry about pulling in your foils out. So this one is going to go our first section. Just cut right across here. So at this one, what we're going to do to get that bolder look is continue with our base color, pull it, or if we're not using a base color, we're not going to apply the base color. So what we're going to do is take this first section here. So we're going to take this first section, we're going to split, we're going to slice, skip, and weave. So we're going to take that micro weave, take that micro weave and pin it back. We're going to actually either apply our base color or not, and we're going to take and hair paint this whole section, and then we're going to take a foil, place it here, and we're going to highlight that skip weave. So what this is going to do is working in diagonal is still going to make this allow to be soft. So when it's cut diagonal across, when it's cut diagonal across, it's going to come down, but it's still going to give that softer appearance with those little pops of color from the micro skip. So we're just going to go again. So the next section is actually going to be all the way across. So you're going to pull most of the hairline down like this. See, now we've got most of her hairline and her bangs out. So I have found it easier to take this section here. Not quite that much. Okay, here. So now, more fell out, sorry. So now you see that we have this section here, which is all of her bangs in the front. So what we're going to do is I found it easier a lot to just hair paint this in the front. pull it through, hair paint it all the way down and set it out. And we'll go to our next section. Pull. See, we're going to do our skip and our weave. And take this bottom part, apply our color if we are, and then we're going to apply our hair painting here. Take the foil, pop it in, and you're going to use, you're going to apply your highlight here in your foil. Now once you get to this section here, since this is her part, you may have a larger section. So it may actually be a pretty big section, because with this whole look, if you've noticed, you're taking pretty big sections. But don't worry about that, because it's going to fall down, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be very diffused and nice. So if you have to on these larger sections, if your foil's not getting very big, I have found it easier to go ahead and do put it in half. So you can put your micro in one and then your slice in the other. That way it's not so, you don't have to worry about pulling out from some sides. So we're going to continue this all the way across, and you're going to do about 4 or 5 sections, and you're going to go all the way to your apex. So it's going to go across all the way through to here. It's going to fall very nicely. So you're going to go to the other side. And you are going to repeat the same exact thing. Pull out the side, micro weave, skip, slice. Pull it up, hair paint, put your foil, apply your highlight. And when you come through this side, you're going to pull up, you're going to do the same exact thing around the front of her hair. So if she is wanting more of that bolder, bright look on her bangs, you can still microwave her bangs, but I have found it easier just to go ahead and hair paint this section, and then go to the next one, hair paint it, microwave. You're going to work all the way back up to the apex. So you're going to have your foils lining up zigzagged across here. Each one of these are going to come up. It's going to be diffused. So the reasoning for the diagonal parts is to soften the look. The zigzag is to diffuse the look across the top, and the bricklay in the back is to completely diffuse all of the balayage in the back. So no matter how you pull your hair, how you pull it, you're not going to have any worry of any of the color showing like lines or like bricklay marks. So it all diffuses very nicely and very beautifully.